Today, the fantasy world meets the world of Fallout as 6 suspects of a murder in an underground kingdom are banished to the frozen surface full of danger. Can they set aside old family rivalries to rely on one another? Let's find out. This is Mistland.
I'm a geek. I use stop bubbles when I speak. I'm a freak because she's received that from me. I'm unique. There is only one of me. I'm complete, so I really don't care what you think of me. I'm a geek.
Hello there, Comic Clan, and welcome to Comics in the Cross, the greatest streamers and YouTubers that you've never heard of. I am Cross, and today we are looking at our first digital exclusive comic as we check out Mistland from Comixology Originals. Mistland is a 5-issue miniseries published by Stout Club and released through the Comixology Originals branding. It's created by Rafael Albuquerque, written by Felipe Casthilo, and art from Felipe Watanabe. Apparently they really liked the double names in the creation of this book. We also have colours from Natalia Marques in issue 1 and colours from Dinei Ribeiro in issue 2. And then lettering from Deyvon Marques. If I have mispronounced any of those names, I completely apologise. I am still getting used to some of the names of the indie creators. So if I have got anything wrong, please let me know in the comments below. I want to make sure I get those correct. But today, as I said, I'm going to be covering Mistland, and we're looking at issues 1 and 2 today. As I start to go through it and kind of collect my thoughts and tell you about the story, I'm pretty sure you'll start to understand kind of why through the review that I'm covering both of them together like this back to back. In issue 1, we're introduced to the Hollow. It's an underground settlement for those seeking refuge and shelter after Ragnarok. The Hollow itself and its people definitely have a very old school Norse Viking influence to them. But so far we don't seem to know if the Ragnarok spoken about is the Ragnarok from Norse mythology, the Norse apocalypse, or some other world-ending event that they've just named Ragnarok. They speak of the surface, the Mistland, as a frozen hell, but in the original Ragnarok mythology, it never talked about the world being frozen or becoming any sort of frozen hell. So this is giving us nothing definitive on that side of things. For the Hollow itself, it's inhabited by 3 different families, the Deyvon, the Tyre and the Sif, as well as those that are also referred to as the Waif. These are homeless, abandoned people that don't have any clan, flag or tie or affiliation to anyone else in the Hollow. The families are constantly fighting with each other, and we're told that it's always about water, that all the fights start with water. The Deyvon take charge of this along with the administration, the running of the Hollow. The Tyre guard the remaining apocryphal texts, if I can say that correctly, and that survived the Ragnarok that took place and try and uphold the law, where the Sif, we see them referring to themselves as diplomats and advisors, but really they're more the farmers of the settlement, and that's how the rest of the society views them. In this issue as well, we're also introduced to Thrud, who is our main character and the narrator of our story. Along with her, we meet her classmates as she is a young girl. We meet Har, a young boy of the Deyvon. Loder is a clanless bard and looks a little bit older than the rest of them. At first I thought it was weird because I thought he was like a weird adult that hangs out with the kids, but apparently he's in the class as well. There's Prince Sigurd, the heir to the throne of the Hollow. Gaimir, who is the prince's royal guard who accompanies him to the class, and then the class tutor, who is only ever referred to as the tutor or the mistress, and mentions her unborn daughter, Liv. Then also at the end of the class we kind of get a crazy old lady from the town called Imbala who walks in, and you get a feeling that she kind of knows a bit more that's going on than most, but doesn't really let it on. She comes in and just has a rant at the teacher for teaching the kids stuff they weren't. You know, it's like, we are not teaching that, that's not what we should really be believing, sort of stuff. But during the class we hear about Sif being explorers, that this is what they used to do in the 200 years following Ragnarok. They would venture into the Mistland, but none ever returned except for Eric, who is known as the last explorer. He did come back and tell of his trials and hardships that he faced, but also that on the surface he found a way to aid their food shortages and their lack of tools and something that could help, and ventured out into the Mistland again, but he then never returned from that second mission, and as a result they decided to close off the outside and make it forbidden except for anyone who was exiled there. That's the major information that we get from issue 1 that kind of informs our story and where we're going. Part of why I wanted to cover issue 2 is that I really felt like that issue 1 was trying to do a lot of world building, but it took way too much of its runtime to kind of set up the world, to set up the characters. But yet none of that would really carry over. Like, we were introduced to characters who wouldn't really be a factor in issue 2, and stuff taking place that wouldn't really seem to affect what was to come. And we find that between the events of issue 1 and 2, there is a significant time jump. It's never specified how long, but my best estimate that it's round about 15 years, maybe 12, 13 years at least, but round about that kind of mark. The children we meet are now adults. The tutor that we met has passed away, and the tutor's daughter is an orphaned waif. Somewhere between about 13 to 16 years old, I would say. And that's how I'm kind of judging the time jump that we get, is from her. The inciting incident that kicks off issue 2 is the death of Prince Sigurd. No one knows what happened, but Thrud, Har, Loder and Liv are all found in the vicinity, and it's under suspicious circumstances. They're either in areas that they really shouldn't be in, or have suspicious equipment on them. For example, Liv has some lockpick tools on her. So any of them could possibly be guilty of his murder. The king, completely enraged by the death of his son, banishes all 4 of them to the Mistland. They're apparently allowed to take 1 gift, and because of her young age and because of his connection to her mother, Gaimir offers to be the gift for Liv and to go with her and protect her in the Mistland. The head of the guard agrees to this, as Gaimir, although he was a royal guard and worked with them, he was also responsible for protecting Prince Sigurd. And he fell asleep at his job being drunk at his post, so he is allowed to go and sent out with them into the frozen wasteland. They're all sent to that frozen surface, and some reason right behind him comes the crazy woman we talked about in Bala. She's clearly thrown out as well, but we're not privy to why she was exiled. She's just out there with them. At this point, I want to address my major problem with the pacing, it feeling like there's too much focus on the wrong things when you only have a 5-issue mini-series to tell the story. I feel like there was so much focus on the setting up the relationships as kids and the inner workings of the Hollow that just didn't need to be focused on. We focus on their tutor, who, yes, had a daughter and is part of the group and was romantically linked to another member, but she herself is no longer around. But yet we see stuff like Thrud, who is now grown up, and they clearly indicate that she herself is a young daughter that, by being cast out into the Mistland, she's not going to see anymore. And that daughter is going to be left as one of the waif. But there's little to no time focusing on that relationship and feeling the emotion of a parent losing a child, which is what we should be feeling looking at that. We also spend so much time focusing on the families and their rivalries. But I don't know much about some of the characters, such as Har or Gaimir. I feel that it could have been an extended first issue at most, with a few more pages dedicated to the backstory, and leave the whole other issue to play with. Is there a chance that this stuff is going to come back around? Honestly, I don't know. There absolutely is a chance, but I really don't know if they will. If this was an ongoing series, I legitimately would not have the same problems with this. I think there'd be a great time to build the characters, there'd be a great time to build the world, there'd be a great time to lead back to the Hollow. But the fact that we have already been told up front that this is a mini-series of 5 issues, it just feels like there's not enough time to explore everything that they're setting up. But Anyway, let's continue on. So we are with our heroes and we are on the surface. And this is when I really got intrigued in the story. So far I thought, yeah, it's a basic story, but I'm not totally synced. But this is the point I got invested. And I got really excited to see what happens. We see Har and Gaimir clash and end up fighting in a massive footprint. We see Har running off, Gaimir goes and chases him, and the two of them end up having a little fight, and we see a massive footprint is in the area that they're fighting of some monstrous creature. You've now got my attention. I want to see this world. And that's why I relate it kind of like Fallout, because I feel like this is like relating it back to the Fallout series, which I watched a few months ago at this point. It feels like when Lucy comes out of the vault, it feels like they're coming out into this world of everything changed and twisted and different, and like that's the world I want to see. Show me the bizarre and twisted fantasy world in a landscape of ice. Also as well, as you may know from our Twitch and from our other YouTube channels, I'm a big fan of D&D. And I can totally, like, my first thoughts looking at these 6 heroes were, this is a D&D party. And I could even look at them and go, that's the role that they are. That's the class that they're playing. That's the class that they're playing. It could be a cool fantasy epic one-shot, and I feel like there was wasted potential with this one. I really do. I do have to wholly praise the art of Felipe Watanabe, though. The art in this book is stunning. You can see it from the front cover, that this is going to have an amazing style of art in it, and we honestly get that throughout the book. It's phenomenal, and then that is only popped by the colours of Natalia Marques in issue 1 and Dinei Ribeiro in issue 2. The artwork is completely worth checking this book out for alone. If you have Prime, you can actually pick this up for free from Comixology as part of your Prime membership. And if you've got that, I would highly recommend going and checking it out. The art in this book, it was absolutely stunning. I'm definitely going to be picking up issues 3 to 5. To complete the series, I want to see where this goes. I want to see the journey that they take. And I really hope this ends on a high. I really hope there's a lot of focus on the stuff in the first issue. And I really hope that either that's kind of easy to let go of, or that comes back around by the time we get to the end. Overall, it's winning me over. Overall, I think there's enough of an intriguing story here and beautiful enough art that I want to check this out. You know, some stories work better as trades or graphic novels, and there's always the chance that that's the case for Mistland, and maybe it's worthwhile picking up the 5 issues once they're all out. But as for me, that is it for today. If you'd like to see me cover more on Mistland here on the channel, or check out some more digital exclusives, leave it in the comments down below and leave those digital exclusives that you think we should look at there. So leave them all in the comments. If you liked what you've seen here today, please give the video a like and share it around. That definitely helps us out here on the channel. And if you want to see more comic reviews from us and enjoyed what you've seen, hit that subscribe button and just support us here at Comics in the Cross. Thank you so much. Take care. And remember, it's a good week to be a geek. Peace.